Hi, everyone, and welcome to what I think is episode 11 of Coloring Outside the Box. And as always, I'm really excited and looking forward to sharing some thoughts that have been sort of wandering in and out of my consciousness for about the last week. And were really focused today when I read a post on Facebook by a friend of mine, Ronnie Grishman, who once upon a time was, for a very long time, was editor of Del Horoscope magazine. And I've been thinking a lot about how everything seems so fluid and it's hard to sort of get a bead or a read on anything. I was talking with one of my sons about that the other day, and he was talking about where he's at and how things are shifting for him. And I realized that right now, I feel like I'm sitting or standing or something on the shifting sands of the Kalahari Desert. Every day, what goes through my mind is, I have this to do and this to do and this to do. And I begin the process, and then suddenly everything just seems to sort of dissolve or fade into the background. And it makes it a little difficult to get a sense of where we're going, at least for me, where I'm going. And when we get in those spaces and places, because we've lived in a society where you must have a plan and you must have a goal and you must needs know where you're going, living in a time where everything is so uncertain, it's harder to live that template. Very hard to live that template. And what happens is we start to feel a little inadequate, or a lot inadequate, or a little overwhelmed, or a lot overwhelmed. And one of the things I wanted to say today was that's okay. Honor the experience that you're having. See it as an opportunity for more awareness, to opening up doors to other creativity, to just being. And I know I've talked off and on about this since I started this podcast, but when I read Ronnie's post today, it did really resonate for me that we struggle to be okay with struggle, that we don't think we should be overwhelmed, that we don't think we, should feel inadequate. And these are things that are kind of part and parcel of life. We're grieving the loss of what we think was a way of life. And the truth is, we don't really know whether that's what we've lost because we're still in the middle of a situation that we cannot predict the end to. So we're looking backwards because it's hard to look forwards. So rather than looking backwards or looking forwards, we need to just be in the moment with whatever it is that we feel. Sorry, my new glasses just want to ride down my nose, apparently. Anyway, so I find myself on a daily basis wondering, WTF? Not from a place of anger or frustration, which I think we're seeing a lot of, but more from a place of yikes. Like, could I do one thing from beginning to end? Could I find a focus that lasts for more than 5 minutes? I personally am finding some stability in growing flowers and, pretending to be a gardener, because I'm not sure I will, you'll ever be able to call me that. But by being outside and tending to small things, to simple things, to remind myself that I'm still present in my life. And that can be hard when we're focused on the things over which we have no control, because then it just gets to be a constant internal litany of feeling like you're sinking under the weight of things that you didn't start. So I just want to say that it really is okay to feel crappy. It's okay to feel that your life has been taken over by, I was going to say aliens, but because sometimes I think we feel that way about the pandemic, is that it's some sort of an alien that came along purposefully to destroy everything. And that's a really hard feeling as we face a litany and a multitude of consequences to life appearing to completely blow up almost overnight. And again, I want to remind you that part of this process is the opportunity to know yourself better. Just take a look in your life, because I'm sure that there are many times when there have been things that overwhelmed you that you thought you would never be able to deal with, and in the end that you did. So rather than spending so much time trying to figure out how to fix this, just be present for yourself. Because inside you is, I'm pretty sure, some optimism and some hope. And I think that part of the challenge that we face is that we're so used to living our lives, with our attention focused outside ourselves, that we don't always realize that life actually happens from the inside out, and that what we can draw on internally can really shift our experience. And to some degree, this requires not only some hope and optimism and awareness, but it also requires some objectivity. It requires an opportunity to, a commitment to looking at your life, to seeing what you've accomplished thus far. Because, no matter what's happening outside ourselves, we are still in charge of what's inside ourselves. And that's a lot, actually, even though sometimes it feels like it may not amount to much. It's an opportunity for us to change our languaging towards ourselves, to actually, take stock of who we are, not what we've done. Because, unless when you're looking at what you've done, you see things about yourself that you've never seen before. Okay, so now I'm just going to complain a little bit here because I'm a little annoyed. I thought my glasses would not reflect the lights in my office, but apparently that was whistling Dixie and living in a fantasy world. So now here's something, a perfect example of what I'm talking about, and it doesn't seem to be, it's not a big deal, but it is one of those times and places where you really see how much stock you put in the little things in your life, about the way things look, the way things feel. And so it's really, anyway, I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, so pardon me. Anyways, well, I promised myself, after taking a look at the previous podcasts I've done, that I was going to do my very best to make them a little more concise, to recognize that, I have to say, I don't always have a very good relationship with time. So when I finish and I realize, oh, wow, I talked for that long, because I had intended that my podcast would be concise, another word for short. Anyways, I guess really the focus of what I wanted to say today was again to encourage each and every one of you to really recognize what internal strength you have. And that even though it's not obvious to you right now exactly how this is all going to play out in all kinds of ways, it's more about really trust yourself, be kind to yourself, and find lots of ways to laugh. I know that for me, this is episode 11, I think, and I have decided to be, maybe I don't know, did I decide? Anyway, to be more relaxed and be more myself. And yeah, so I'm not even gonna, my brain goes, well, what do you mean you were yourself before? Anyway, welcome to my internal dialogue. So I'm certain that we all have our own, I know we all have our own inner dialogues, and mine has been on full display today, off and on. Anyway, so cheers. I want to take time to say wow and pat each, if I could pat each and every one of you on the back, I would. If I had the opportunity to speak to you directly, I would celebrate you, because I think that's an important thing. So, and by the way, if you would like to share any stories you have about how you've been managing through this whole thing, I don't even know what to call it. Don't want to, this upside down version of the world as we knew it. Please do. You can email me at thepathrevealed@outlook.com. I would really appreciate that. I am always open to celebrating other people's lives and their stories, so please join me and send me some stuff. Anyway, so I want to say once again, thank you. And thanks for being part of my world on whatever level we connect. Yeah, anyway, apparently that didn't come out the way I wanted it to either. Anyhow, much love to you all. Thank you so much. Take care. Till next time. Bye-bye.